You know what I just realized? My motocross bike has been working just a little bit too well recently. So I decided I want a project bike. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about how I bought a dirt bike that I'm sure won't give me that much trouble in the future.
What? Oh, hell no! That's, oh, hell no!
Like all good things, this story starts on Facebook Marketplace. And of course, I started by looking at some older, easier to fix stuff. Think older two-strokes. I've worked on two-strokes before. I've ridden them for a while and I know the parts are cheap. But then I stumbled upon the world of newer, crappy four-strokes. It was just so enticing. You could find a bike that's normally $4,000 for almost half that. All you needed to do was deal with a couple small problems, I'm sure. So I started searching, and after getting ghosted, as I always do on Facebook Marketplace, I found a bike that I thought it would be worth checking out. So I shot a message to a guy with a who he claims needs a head gasket. Apparently coolant has been bubbling, which means I guess air is getting into the coolant. The bike runs fine though. He sent me a video. It sounds good, no knocking noises or anything. So hopefully that's an easy enough fix to where I can just get it, sell it quickly. Those are worth pretty high in my area, and they should be a fun bike as well. But my fear with four strokes is just how complicated they are. I feel a little better because it's newer, but he said it has a decent amount of hours on it. I think the entire bike, it was over 200. But if it runs okay, if it was used kind of lightly, and if I can get a good enough price on it, I think it might be a decent flip. This is a 2019 Yamaha YZ250F, the YZ250F. Now, if you watch my channel for a long time, you know that I used to own a 2022 YZ125, and that was my dream bike. But even at that time, there was something in the back of my head that said if I ever switched to a four-stroke, I knew exactly what it would be. The 2019 to 2023 YZ250F. Of course, by 2024, the new YZ250F generation had came out. But if you watch many review videos of the time, you'd know that a lot of riders preferred the older one. It had a little more low-end torque, which at the time the YZ250F was famous for, and that made it very rideable, especially for less skilled riders. But with the new gen, Yamaha changed the power curve to favor higher RPMs. Even though that's appealing to people who really want to rev their bikes out, for me and many others, part of the appeal of having a four-stroke over the two-stroke is that low-end torque. So the decision was made. The second I got that YZ125, my next attainable dream bike was a YZ250F. And here it is, but mine's not perfect. So let's talk about it. Definitely a lot newer than I was originally thinking. There is a lot to do to it though. And I'll talk about the price a little more later on in this series. But first, I gotta figure out a couple things wrong with this. Starting from the front, this brake caliper is somehow loose. It's also rubbing against the brake rotors, which are covered in oil. The front brake does not work very well. It goes almost all the way to the bar, and there's very little fluid in that little like see-through hole. That oil, of course, is coming from the fork seals, which on both sides seem to be leaking. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's pretty bad and they definitely need to be replaced. The radiators are bent, which is why the plastics are not held on. The handlebars are also somehow loose. The map switch and the starter are held on by zip ties. This connector, which I'm pretty sure is a diagnostic connector for dealerships to plug into, does not have a cover, and therefore it is corroded and bad. The bike needs a head gasket. It's spewing coolant out of the overflow, and it's blowing white smoke the whole nine. The only mysterious problem is there's a leak somewhere on this part of the engine bay. I'm really hoping it's the gasket for this, I think it's the stator cover or whatever, because that would be pretty cheap and pretty easy to fix. But it's kind of hard to tell because it's very slow. The rear linkage bearings are shot. You can hear that clunk. That's not good. Oh, I forgot to mention, front wheel needs wheel bearings as well. The back is fine though. The swing arm bearings are good and the wheel bearings are good. So it's just the front wheel bearings and the rear linkage. Overall, over this entire bike, there's a bunch of loose parts and just missing stuff. You can see here it's missing like the typical exhaust shield. Yeah, I think overall it's just missing a lot of stuff. Not to mention it's filthy. Like the entire engine is just black with this soot stuff. So really the only good things about this bike is that it runs and drives and it's a good year. But other than that, it needs a lot of work. So this is definitely more of a longer term project than I was originally kind of going for. I'm not really as interested in making too much money off this flip. I got it for a low enough of a price to where even if I do all of that stuff, I should still not lose money on it. I think I'd be able to sell it for about as much as I put into it. So this is definitely not like a huge like money making big flip or anything like that. But it's just kind of more to get some experience. And hopefully at the end I'll take this thing for a couple of rides before I sell it. And it'd be nice to experience a 250. I haven't had a 4-stroke in a while. Yeah.